Hello, everyone. Hopefully, you can see me. I always say that. I don't know why, but just habit, I guess. I hope you're all doing well on this, dreary Saturday in England. Hopefully, it's better where you are. I know Gina said it's not so nice where she is. Hopefully, weather will improve and be a bit nicer. In this live today, it's going to be the usual. I'm going to be talking about bonding, which is a topic that's cropped up again. A bit on misconceptions on parrot behaviour because when I was doing my video recently, some questions arose from that, and I thought about some other things I can talk about. A little bit of info on how Charlie's getting on. You can see his cage in the background. And then, as usual, I take a couple of questions people ask throughout the week or the weeks leading up to this, and then I include them in this live stream so I can share it all with you. And after that, quite happy to do the usual Q&A, so you guys can ask any questions you want to or discuss anything. We'll have some birds out, probably just chip and fish, maybe Olive, because it's just me here today and I want things to be nice and calm. Also want things to be nice and calm for Charlie as well, because just as a spoiler, the other conures really do like to hang out with him, and me and Sophie like to be available to intervene, which I can't do if I'm on a live stream. So, as I said, hope you're all doing well. I'm going to give it another couple of, actually not, I'm going to give it a few seconds. I want to get straight on with the bonding, because anyone who misses it can just watch it back later. Just in the sort of interim, me and Sophie are doing all right. Lots of stress, lots of stuff going on, but we're doing fine. Making sure Charlie's settling in very well. The rest of the flock are just happy and usual. Kipling's very naughty as always. Louis is cheeky. You know, I keep saying it, but just because Louis has one leg does not mean he's one of the cheekiest little conures I know. My goodness, that guy has so much personality. He's so naughty. He flies around absolutely everywhere, and it's just amazing like how he gets on. So I'll be doing that disabled bird video now that everyone's submitted. I asked some people to submit some material to me. We're doing a video all about him, their birds, and the adaptations you can make. And I'll be focusing on small parrots, because I feel small parrots are neglected a lot more when it comes to issues like that, and I'll expand upon that in the video. So anyway, let's get started on sort of today's topics. And yeah, thank you, Gina, for just before I start on that. So yeah, thank you, Gina. I try to do it on there. Sophie does them too, and we want to sort of update you how Charlie's getting on constantly as well. So we'll constantly be doing them and sort of changing up what we do on Patreon based on what you guys like, which I'll talk about a little bit later. So bonding. But this crops up with bonding so much, and it's quite interesting how we never learn as humans with bonding and bonding our parrots. It's so important to give them time when a parrot initially comes into your house. And it's something we don't always do. And it's a lesson me and Sophie almost had to relearn with Charlie, because we think we know it all, we're naturally experienced with birds. We think we can do everything. It doesn't work that way. It doesn't matter. He doesn't know how experienced we are. He's not going to go on our timetable. So it's so important to give your parrot lots of time to settle and not have any expectations. Let them relax, enjoy themselves in your house, and just know that it's a great place to be, because they don't know it's your house. They don't know how amazing and comfortable it is. They don't know that you're an amazing person and you love them. They don't know any of that. So you have to give them time, and you have to teach them that you are as amazing as you think you are, or know you are, depending on the situation. It's really important. So yeah, that ties in with it. So another big YouTuber recently had an issue like that. And I'm not going to name names because I don't do it on here. And maybe on Discord we sometimes discuss it, but not on the channel, because I think it's wrong to bash people like that. Brought in a bird. Had expectations that it's going to be easy peasy, due to its species. Whoa, it wasn't easy for them, and they had a lot of trouble. And this is an expert apparently, so everyone gets caught out by it. You can't have expectations and assumptions. You've got to take every bird as an individual, and you've got to work it. Even the smallest bird can be a lot of effort. People assume that small birds are easy. They really aren't. You can't just dismiss it. Size does not indicate ease. It's not a good scale to work from. So it does apply to us on bonding birds so much. And I said, the Charlie's a perfect example. With Charlie, we had certain expectations. And I found personally, I had to take a step back because of crimson bellies and the way they are to make progress with him. That may seem counterintuitive, but taking that step back with Charlie's actually helped our relationship a lot. And it means that me and him get on a lot better now. There's lots of that on Patreon, but I'll discuss it briefly later when I'm talking about Charlie in general. So it's interesting how you have to just adapt how you do things. You can't just make assumptions. And I'm repeating myself now. You can hear him talking in the background. He has such a wide vocabulary. He rivals Kipling for the amount he talks. I think it may be a crimson belly trait. I do still intend to do that video on crimson bellies. I do promise you all. But I thought it'd be worth delaying it until I have some experience with Charlie, because he's a completely different personality to Kipling. And then I can maybe get some more information from other people as well, and then produce a better, more well-rounded video for you all on crimson bellies, before just making assumptions based on one experience and a few people's examples. You know, if you're doing it scientifically, like everyone wants studies and stuff, you have to take a big sample, you have to take a lot of time, and you have to just peer review it almost, which is what I'm going to do by getting other people's opinions. So it's very important. Yeah, again, with new owners as well, I talked about it a minute ago, but new owners constantly come to me, and this is the most common message I get on Instagram or my emails or even in comments these days is I've just got, and then I look for the timescale, and the timescale is normally like a day to a week, and I'm just like, they don't know you. You haven't had them for that long. How can you expect them to be like, oh my goodness, you're amazing? So if you're watching this and you're a prospective or a new bird owner, take your time. Don't expect lots of stuff to happen instantly. It may do. They may be perfect with you, may be happy, but take your time and put in the work. I often talk about the sort of training pillar, just a sort of thing. I should TM trademark that or something. I'm quite sure it's going to be ripped off very soon. Where you have your foundation, which is your passive bonding, your initial bonding work, and that sort of foundation you lay before you can start going up those stairs, the other levels in the tower. The next levels may be your target training basics, you're stepping up. Next levels maybe your recall flying, basic tricks, and the top is where they're actively cuddling with you. They like to do lots of things with you, and they're generally enjoying training and doing advanced tricks and foraging. That's at the top. You can't expect them to do that right at the start. You need to build up to it. So that's all I had to say on bonding today, because it does crop up a lot. I know I've said some of these things before, but I have elaborated now, so hopefully it'll be useful to everyone who's watching. Also, remember, guys, if there's any questions, I will get to them later. In fact, what I'll do actually is I'll take a little break now, and I'll see if there's any questions, and then we'll have this usual Q&A. Hello to everyone who's just joined. Welcome. I hope everyone's doing well. Yeah, some birds can bond instantly, Gina. Other birds take a lot of time. Yeah, I hope it's going to be great. I'm trying to put a lot of work and planning into it. Sometimes, most of my videos are quite off the cuff. I'll have a general plan, an outline, which I'll have in front of me, but I try to be more informal and just, talk normally. I think that's more relatable to people. And some videos I do want to script a bit more, which is one of those, which is going to be that video. Tati, it's sorry, I'll read out the question so everyone can benefit. I have an 18-year-old dusky parrot. Since Wednesday, her voice is going out. Could that be from old age? It could be. Could also be a croppish. It could be a few things. If you just got the parrot, it may be worth getting them a vet checkup just to make sure they're okay. It's always worth doing so to make sure they're okay. Hello, Dada99, welcome. So it looks like there's not too many questions. Yeah, again, Guy, that's exactly it. No, fish and chip are actually quite old now. They're sort of slowly coming out of their teen years. But do remember, yeah, when they're young, they're still learning to be a bird, Peggy. Exactly right. When they're young, they're learning, and they have their teenage years, which is a terrible twos as well, which they may exhibit more hormonal behaviours. So, I don't like anthropomorphism, but sometimes relating their experiences to ours can help us understand them. Their life cycle is different to ours, but there are certain key moments which are similar. We're all awkward teens. Our birds can be awkward teens as well. And it's interesting. Amber, I'm very sorry. I can't read your pics. I'm not sure which bit you've missed, but don't forget, you can always watch this back later. It's going to be on there all the time. We're completely fine. Oh, sorry, Tati. So she's had her since a baby. Actually, normally for trying to scream, she's muffled. Again, I would recommend just getting it checked. It could be absolutely nothing. Could be just it could be a minor infection, could be absolutely nothing, but it's always better safe than sorry. Yeah, the terrible twos, aren't they fun? At least they don't last as long as us humans, because I wasn't, the best. I'm quite sure a lot of people have their experiences when they were younger. So yeah, at least our parrots, well, some of them do just a bit longer. Hello, Philip. I have a conure named Astro, and I've him 7 years. He's very intelligent and very lovable, but he does go in his nice cage at night to sleep. Does that mean he doesn't or does? Sorry if I've missed that. No worries, Tati. Anyway, let's talk about misconceptions of behaviour. As I've sort of caught up on the chat, it's nice that I'm staying on top of it today. Sophie isn't even having to intervene at all, so it's great. So I did a video on misconceptions of behaviour, which is does your parrot really like this recently? If you haven't watched that, it's well worth a watch. It covers some of the biggest misconceptions on how we interpret parrots and how they behave and how they don't want to behave. Philip, I will cover this straight after I do this. Apologies for misreading that or typo. So yeah, and a lot of times we do misconceive is that the word? Our parrot's behaviour and misread it. And it happens to all of us. And what helps with it is experience. And that's something I have a lot of with cockatiels and conures, which helps me a lot in understanding them. I have less with crimson bellies. So I hadn't dealt with them until Kipling before. So for me, it's a learning experience. And that's probably why it's a little bit more difficult. It is harder for me because I don't know them as a species. When it comes to budgies, when it comes to conures, when it comes to cockatiels and a couple of others, I'm pretty on the ball just reading them by looking at them. And it's quite interesting. It's quite interesting to like work it out and sort of like try and work it out. Yeah, hello, Parrots and was welcome. Yes, the terrible twos. In fact, while I'm pausing here, let's talk about your Philip. I have videos on going back into the cage. You want to make it fun. You want to make that cage space the best it possibly can be. You want to make it appealing to go back in that cage, and that can mean training around the cage. Also, making sure you continue engaging when they're next to the cage. So when they're in the cage, don't just walk away immediately. They go in there because that just it's an alarm bell for a bird. They're thinking, oh no, the moment I go in there, all the fun stops. So hang around. Give them a couple of treats for going in and make it pleasant. That's the best advice. The video sort of talks about it a bit more. Right, where was I? Hello, Tori. Yes, you are. Welcome. So let's talk about some common misconceptions with behaviour and how we often misinterpret our parrots' behaviours. The biggest one, I'd say, is misreading overstimulation as excitement. And we all do this. We all love high energy. Some of us humans are very high energy. We enjoy interacting with our parrots. We want it to be high energy and exciting for them and us as well. So often we will get high energy and then say, for example, let's take a conure, we'll get really excited and they will start whistling, they will start talking, they will get really energetic. And to us, that's amazing. We feed off of that. But to them, that could be feeding into overstimulation, not excitement. They could be excited and it could start as excitement, but then you've got that gradual up, up, up. The more steps you go, the more you get to overstimulation. That's where we have problems when our conures get overstimulated. Say, for example, let's another example there with conure. You get them, they come out, you're yelling, they're whistling, they're talking, and immediately you ask them for a step up. And they're in that mode. They're not in training mode. They're not interaction mode. They're in overstimulated, excited mode. There's no surprise that conure is going to have a crack at your hand. And it's completely the same for every other parrot species as well. Every one will have some indications of overstimulation. And it's quite interesting to see the ways they exhibit it, but it's always the same result normally. Hormones, biting, or undesirable behaviour such as excess screaming. So sometimes it's important to tone the energy levels down, especially during training. Again, this has helped with Charlie a bit, just toning those interactions a little bit rather than getting everyone heightened. Crimson bellies seem to get heightened very quickly, and they seem to have a little switch which flicks as well, which I've noticed. Conures, they have the same, but it's not quite as bad. And cockatiels, I'd say, is similar to conures, not in the way they exhibit the overstimulated behaviour, but more in the way that they build up to it rather than getting too wound up. Chip's a good example of this when he's sitting on me. See you later, guy. Thank you for joining as well. Chip's sitting on me, and he'll be fine, and then he'll get really heightened, and then he may just like start nibbling at me. Never bites me, but he may nibble, and it's interesting to see. The next one, again, this one was covered in the video. I thought the first one wasn't as much. It's a shame. I should have done more about that. So, Gina, how about very large species macaws? They have their own signs of showing overstimulation, like eye pinning, or you will see the ruffling, or we call it like the heckles, even though it heckles, because we think it's amusing. Probably not the best way to describe it, but people don't know the inside joke. You will see various signs from a macaw that shows overstimulation, and you will see repeated motions. That's a very common parrot thing. I don't know why I'm demonstrating it for you guys. It's a bit weird looking. But yeah, so macaws will show it to you too. And if a macaw goes for you, that's going to be a very painful bite. Puffs its chest and neck feathers. He could just be excited to see you. And again, remember, there is that switch. And with a green cheeks, it's more of like graduation, sorry. So with green cheeks, he may be excited to see you. But again, if you were to sort of inflame that more, he may bite you or he may exhibit something else. But it's okay to get our conures excited sometimes. It's okay to play with them. It's just knowing where that tipping point is and not expecting a certain type of reaction from them. Say, for example, again, like I keep saying, for example, when you're getting them excited and then suddenly you want them to train, that may not happen. They may not want to cuddle because they're already excited. They're excited. They want to do fun things, and fly around. So that's where we're talking about a problem. Next one, misreading tolerance as enjoyment. Now, this was in the video and you see it a lot with the showers. You've got learned helplessness. You've just got them tolerating things and just accepting them because they don't know how to get out of them. And then suddenly we're thinking they're enjoying them. Cuddling can be a good thing. Conures love cuddling, But for example, Olive does not like being fully enclosed. If I like towards the side or wrap around a little bit, very rarely sometimes, that's fine. Fully enclosed, that makes her panic and it's bad. And another parrot may just accept that. Doesn't mean it's enjoying it. So it's important to know your parrot and not misread tolerance as actually enjoying something, because they're not us. We do love being warm and cozy and snuggled. A conure may love being cuddled, but it may not be like fully enclosed. And also, the other danger is, this goes back to that darn TikTok toweling thing. If you wrap your parrot up very tightly, they don't breathe the same way as us. Even if their noses are exposed and they can breathe there, they don't do it the same way as us. They need to expand and contract their whole body. If you restrict that, you could be suffocating your parrot. And a lot of people do it without realizing, but luckily it never happens into an issue because they just do it for a limited amount of time. So if you ever do toweling, make sure you do it properly, even though me and Sophie aren't big fans of it. When Squirt bit me, she was too excited. I said no bite. She replied no bite, laughed, and she pranced away all tough. Yeah, I mean, she's just associating it. She bites you, she gets the reaction, and she's like no bite because I've bitten. It's fun and it's like really enjoyable. Yeah, that's another thing. It's very important point that not all conures will be cuddly. It is a species trait. Generally, they do like to cuddle, but they're individuals. Not every single one will like to cuddle. And that's something else to bear in mind. Always the individual. It's the most important thing to do. I'm sorry, I'm just looking at my notes here. Oh yeah, so when you're trying to do excitement and positive reinforce through like a secondary reinforce, which basically means not like your treats or your attention or whatever, and you're using excitement to get them help, make sure you do it correctly and apply it correctly. Because like I just a moment ago, excitement is fun for conures. They love dancing, they like getting excited, but know when to sort of turn that dial down, that volume level down, know their behavior, and then generally just moderate it. If I had a little kid, and I noticed they were getting really heightened on sweets and stuff, I'll try and calm them down a little bit, because it's no good for them if they get so excited, run around and then bash into the wall. Because you can see the same with a parrot. They, get really excited, they get all this lovely energy and they want to burn it out, they go flying around and then whack, and they stun themselves. Not ideal, really. Adara, yeah, when Horace asks for pets, if I'm not careful and make him feel too enclosed, I get a bite. He does not like feeling like I'm going to grab him. Parrots don't, they're a prey species. Some parrots will tolerate it. Grabbing is one of my pet hates, and I've seen a lot of annoying videos recently about it, how my bird loves grabbing. Okay, sure. Yeah, my cockatiels hate that as well. They don't want to be fully enclosed. Chip is demanding squishes from me every single day. Every time he's out, he just wants to come on my hand, or this is the hand he has to be on for his pets and demanding them. But if I was to try and grab him, he would hate it. Tori, my connie doesn't play with his toys and he's always scared of new things. What can I do to entertain him? Well, first work on his neophobia. So, just because your connie is scared of new things doesn't mean you can't introduce them and work on it. I've got videos on descents. Sophie has a video on neophobia. We've got videos on introducing toys to your parrot as well. And there's all sorts of things you can do to get him used to it. Just because he's scared initially doesn't mean he will be scared all the time. So take your time, train him to use those toys, allow him to teach him how to enjoy those toys and enjoy them. Yeah, it doesn't matter. Again, the Day 99, it doesn't matter if they're cuddly or not. A Velcro bird's funny as long as they can be independent. Oh, another thing I love about Charlie, he's very independent. He'll just do his own thing. Although today he'd actually wanted to come on me a lot, which was interesting. Am I quite up to date? I'm up to date. Awesome. Yes, that's the last point on this. When we're talking about overexcitement, because that is kind of the theme on misconceptions today, because I've noticed it's a big thing, just like the bonding example earlier with new owners. When you're training and your parrot's overexcited, make sure you're not rewarding overexcitement. Again, let's take it back to Charlie and Kipling examples. When I like to reward Charlie through the cage to help my bond with him, the same with Kipling. I do target training for the cage as well. However, Charlie gets very excited, Kipling gets very excited when I get up to the cage. So I have to wait for that calm moment after a target or after he calms down to reward it. Because if I just come up to that cage and I'm like, yeah, Charlie, 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 and then give him a treat immediately, I'm rewarding overexcitement. So I'm going to get more of that. And that's going to start a spiral of overstimulation when he comes out, which is going to lead to me getting bitten. Not because he hates me, but because he's so excited and expecting a treat. And it's very important to keep that in mind with your training. That's why a lot of trainers say, keep any training calm and relaxed, and keep your bridges neutral and not too overexcited, because if you don't, you can have all sorts of issues with your training, and you can end up almost creating problems with biting or overstimulation or even hormones yourself. We can be the cause of it because we're rewarding the overexcitement without realizing. So make sure you are rewarding for calm, or if you are rewarding when they're excited, you don't do it too often and you're mindful of your parrot, because you will know their personality. You will know how they're going to act, especially over time. Experience is so important. The more you watch your parrot, the more you get to know them, the more you're going to see these signs. Also, research online is really helpful. Charlie getting excited about my voice again, so I'm going to try and talk a bit quieter and slower in a minute, unless it's something scary outside. Is there something scary, Charlie? Something scary outside. Okay, I'm sorry. So yeah, rewarding overexcitement is not an ideal thing. Let's be a bit quieter for a second, see if he calms down a second, unless it's something outside that's scaring him. So where was I? Amber, I just got a new cockatiel and he seems to be scared of millet. What can I do to get him to take it? If your parrot is scared of millet, I don't know if you're offering the whole sprig or if you're offering a single bud. Break up into small buds. Maybe have a few pinch between your fingers. See if he'll take it then. Sometimes a big sprig can be quite intimidating. I can't seem to get my bird to take a bath. What should I do? I've tried everything. Both me and Sophie have videos on bathing. It's well worth it. Offer it in different ways. Offer it as a dish. Offer it as a spray. Get him used to spraying. Like spray him a little bit. Reward him. Make it a calm experience. You may even have to just get him used to the bottle before you even start spraying, or spray near him so he's used to it. Take it in small steps so he can get used to the feeling of water on him. And also, super, if he's a cockatiel, they can be notoriously fussy of bathing, so you would have to go through a bit more effort. Our boys do not like bathing unless they're in a specific mood. Oh, and also try maybe greens, wet greens threaded through the bars or in a bowl. That can help too. All right, let's have a little read. I'm trying to talk a little bit calm. I'm trying to have little pauses between my calm because I can see Charlie's getting very excited behind me. Yeah, Adara, if I don't see your question, I will usually go through a chat at the end when I answer questions, or you can just repeat the question and I will watch it then later on just to make sure. I have a question. My male cockatiel bird was mating my female. He's not doing it properly. He sits on her back. What? I'm not quite sure what the question is Pamela, unless someone's already covered it. Idea on foraging for vegetables. So, Nigel, depending on what species your parrot is, they may not want to forage for vegetables. Generally, you want high value items to be foraging items, although some people, Sophie had a great idea. You just have a bell pepper or pepper, and normally red's probably a good color, depending on what your parrot likes, and then you fill it with treats and stuff and other bits of vegetables, and that can be quite appealing to foraging activity. You can do it on the floor of the cage. You can even like hollow it out and put bits in there, hang it up. Be creative. But normally foraging, you want to be using higher value stuff, and vegetables, depending on your parrot, isn't always high value. Although, like in that example, you can make it interesting by using kebabs, hollowing them out, putting treats inside, poking treats into them, doing all sorts of fun things with your vegetables. We don't have to restrain ourselves. We can be creative when we're doing our vegetables and when we're doing stuff with them to create a really fun environment for our parrots to enjoy it. It's all in nutritional enrichment. We sort of talked a bit about it in our last course. Making vegetables fun, I guess, because it's like feeding children. They don't want to eat their vegetables either. Hello, Sherry. Welcome. Yeah, I thought so. I thought it was a very good idea from Sophie as well. I think she did it as like a seasonal thing. It was quite cool, quite cute. But yeah, I wouldn't mind eating that. Maybe not stuff with seeds, but like cheese and stuff or other vegetables. Maybe we should give that a try for our own diet. Right, I think I've caught up on the questions. So let's talk about the next thing, which is Charlie. So how is Charlie? Charlie's doing well. I'm not going to spoil the stuff that's on Patreon already in case any patrons haven't watched it yet, but he's generally doing well. We did have some issues at the start. I initially thought Charlie wasn't a fan of me because maybe that's my bias because Kipling wasn't. But as I said a moment ago, it did help when I took a step back and I approached him more calmly, which I feel with Crimson Bellies is important. It's not always about doing extra training. It's about sometimes doing the right training at the right time with them when they're in the right mood. He beaked me a few times, and that wasn't ideal, but nowhere near as bad as Kipling got me. My goodness, he definitely destroyed me quite a lot, and he still gets me occasionally now. It's a long road with Kipling and me due to his past and his experiences, but we're just going to keep going with it and keep on trying with him. Worked for. Oh, Sophie wanted me to tell you guys that he's been working his spin trick, and Charlie is learning to spin very quickly. He's very, very smart. very talkative, and he learned how to spin very quickly. And I think he's going to know it very quickly, his behaviour. Also, for the first time, he rested on Sophie's hand in front of us. I was sat on my chair just off camera here. He was sat here with Sophie, and he just had a little nap between us. No overstimulation, no excitement. We could even talk softly. He was happy to sit there. That was very cute because it shows he's starting to trust us. And he's happy being around us, including me. And yeah, he's also recalling to me regularly. What I am doing is leaving my hands as a precaution because I'm still trying to work out exactly what about me is the problem. It may be my hoodie, which we feel strongly was. It may be my voice. It's overexciting to him. It may be my hands. So we're trying to work through that before taking other steps. But generally, it's a bit of a smoother ride than with Kipling. Again, we're working. The whole point of us taking on Charlie was obviously to give him a good home, but also to work on finding Olive a little friend. So we're doing lots of bonding work, and there's lots of interest between the parrots, and it's been quite interesting to see the initial interactions between Charlie and them. If you are on Patreon and you haven't watched it yet, do watch it. I've got some clips on there as well. Me and Sophie talk through what's been going on, what we've been doing. And if you aren't on Patreon, consider joining up because it may be interesting to you to see the bonding process. We're going to show it from start to finish. Hopefully there'll be a great ending at the end, but we want to basically pair him up with other flock mates so he can have that interactions with other parrots. And we're going to sort of like start documenting it. This first video was talking, and after that we're going to start getting more and more clips and show in the videos exactly what we're doing to bond him with other birds, and also the difficulties we're going to face because we don't know if it's going to be easy or if it's going to be hard. So we're going to keep working on it. So yeah, no spoilers there for people that have enjoyed stuff already or not seen it yet. Peggy, yeah, I like sitting and relaxing with our birds, and I can't always do it. For example, Olive likes to sit on my leg, but she needs my attention, so I need to focus my attention on her. I can maybe get away with sometimes doing some work while she sits down under my arm. She'll like cuddle side against my arm, and that's all right. The boys sometimes will sit on my shoulder and my head. That's fine. Pickles will sometimes sit on my head, but Scampy tends to be more demanding for attention. Yeah, sometimes they can be. It can be difficult to get work done. Yeah, we have got an intro video on Charlie. You can also see him in the background right there. He's very excitable, I think purely because I'm talking so much and so loudly, and also because, yeah, there are birdies outside. So what I'm going to do, once I finish this little section, I'm going to give him a treat once he calms down a little bit, so hopefully just help him relax, and then probably get Chip and Fish out to sort of like move into the Q&A section of this talk. So where was I? Let's see if I have questions. I have a question, Gina. Why do conures tap, not the hormonal regurgitation behaviour, with their beaks on our hands, head, or other objects? I would say it's either a territorial behaviour or it's excited behaviour. Sometimes tapping can lead to regurgitation or hormonal behaviour, but I found that Kipling taps when he's excited, Charlie taps when he's excited, and Olive taps when she's excited. But with Olive, it sometimes leads on to hormonal. So I'd say it's a territorial or excited behaviour, Gina. That's what cockatiels do, parrots on wheels. They love tapping stuff, don't they, to lay claim to it. They're tapping everyone. Hello, Anne. Welcome. Does he sit on the phone? That's quite cute. He sits on the phone. Scampy likes to do that sometimes, but he'll like peck it constantly so I can't get anything done. Yeah, cockatiels love tapping and beaking things. It's quite cute to see them. I mean, Fish is the bonk master. He will go around the floor. He'll bonk everything. All I have to do is tap something. He'll march over and he'll bonk it. We actually use it sometimes when he's a little bit nervous of something because he gets his courage when he goes into territorial or confident mode, and he'll go over and bonk it. And then suddenly after that, Chip will try it and it'll be very cute. It'll be lots of fun. So Tori, sometimes in the middle of the night, my conure will swipe his beak along the bars of the cage. Definitely sounds like a horror movie. Conures do that. They love to shuffle their bars up and down. And that tends to be, they want our attention, I've noticed, or they're a little bit nervous or excited about something. The problem with our parrots is often a behavior may mean multiple things. So it's going to depend on context to read it. For example, with Olive, the tapping is a good example. Sometimes she taps because she's excited. But if I see her tapping on a fabric, because I know her experience again, I know that that's going to lead to regurgitation, and she's doing it, she's hormonal. So it's quite interesting. Philip, Ash, our birds love high places. Yeah, probably. If you can get a pic, it's always cute to see pictures. Right, so let me take this moment to have a sip of drink and go and give Charlie a little bit of attention. Then we'll get the boys out. Then I'll do the questions, pre-prepared questions that people have asked. Then we'll have the birdie chaos and usual questions. Charlie, man. You know it's me, don't you? Yeah, go Charlie. Should we do a target for this? Just put you in training mode. Should we see so everyone else can see? You can't? Good boy. You can touch? Good boy. That's very calm. You just want some attention, is that all? Good boy. Righty, let's get these boys out. Yeah. You coming out? You just want some attention, little man. I would have you out for this, but you're a little bit naughty at me still. You guys, in fact, why don't you come say hello to everyone first, and then we'll pop you on the stand for a little bit. Hello, look at this big boss. What do you want to do? Are you just hungry? You just want some snack? Or do you want to sit on me? Your choice. Yeah? All right, let's move myself slightly. Oh, I don't want to block the vision, your view of Charlie, but I also don't want to block your view of these guys as well. So let's move them to the one side. Yeah, he's Fish is a real big boss. I wonder if Chip will let him come up to you and say hello. What a big man. Are you saying hello to everyone? You going to do your head shake for everyone? You're not going to do it? You're making me look silly. You're just going to bark at everyone. Well, Fish has decided he's just going to bark at everyone. Right. So let's have a quick look at the chat. Then I'll do the pre-prepared questions. Then we'll just open it up to doing whatever as usual. Oh, good. There's not much going on. Birdmaster, will different species bond because I have a rosy balk feeding a budget? Yes, you will see different species bond. You know, I've seen some interesting pairings. Some of them I wouldn't say are ideal, especially if they're too large and too small. But if they're similar sizes and they get on and they bond, Louis, naughty boy. If they get on, that's great. You know, no reason to not let them get on, especially if they're similar. You know, I've seen conures and cockatiels bond and do well. However, they are different species. So remember, their behaviors will be different. I just would recommend approaching everything with caution and being very mindful of it. You know, if they do, just keep observing them, see things are and see how things are getting on between them if they're getting on really well. Right. Oh, it's good. It's good that he's chatting, Peggy. Yeah, Dara, you see budgies and cockatiels bond quite well. I mean, I've seen budgies bond with all sorts. And it's very adorable to see, you know. It's just, with cockatiels, it's fine generally, but when you get bigger, what is going on? Is there something out that window again? I love that these guys, you'd think they're very flighty about some things, but I suppose it's just a decent work. They're really calm about birds out the window. I bring them up to the window, they see magpies, crows. The rest of the birds would be like really worried. These guys would just sit on my hand and just go a little bit skinny and be like, yeah, just a magpie, just a crow. Oh dear. Right, so I had two questions. So actually this will be repeatedly, that's why I thought I'd cover it. So people have been asking when we're going to do our next course. And it's going to be a little while. We do have ideas for our next course and what we actually want to feature in it. It's going to basically be like a training-based course rather a dietary one. We're going to kind of alternate them maybe. It's going to be on training basics. And it's going to be covering all those basic concepts, all those difficult things that people like throw around, all those words that people throw around, just to give people a firm foundation in their training so they know exactly what everything means, exactly what everything does. And we feel it'd be very useful for people to do. We may also, after that, make it like a PDF or a video you can download afterwards. But we feel maybe live first and then get it. Me and Sophie are discussing it basically. We're playing with ideas on what we want to do. Hello and welcome. Doesn't matter. You know, being late is better than not turning up at all. Welcome. I hope it's great. So yeah, we are thinking of another course. We're just in the planning stages at the moment because we've had a lot on. Just finished the last course. Lots has been going on. And yeah, we're just trying to sort of sort ourselves out, catch up, and then maybe give ourselves a sort of a break where we're just doing normal content for a little while, making sure Charlie's okay, and then maybe doing more stuff like that. Because we love doing courses. We enjoy teaching. We want to interact with you. Oh my goodness, excuse me. We want to interact with you. We want to educate because we both enjoy it. You know, I used to be a teacher. I love it. Sophie really enjoys it too. You know, we like to think we've got a lot to offer people. So we want to make sure everything is just done well, basically, so you get the most out of it. The other question, a conure related one. So do conures growl when they are happy? And I did a video on conure growling, which you can just find if you search it on my channel. But yes, conures will growl when they're happy. Again, we're sort of going back to what we talked about. Are you being naughty? Come here, you naughty boy. Don't scream at your brother. Conures will growl for a multitude of reasons. And again, it's context and also the pitch of the growl. So, example, Scampy will growl when he's scared. Can you come in as well? You don't want to step up that way. The Scampy will growl when he's scared. Oh, hello, blimey. I'll try that again. Scampy will growl when he's scared, but he'll also growl when he's content. And his growl when he's scared is kind of like longer and more high pitched. When he's content, it's just this low sort of rumble, almost like a cat's purr. So conures will use their growls in very different ways. The crimson bellies are similar. You have this sort of almost high pitched growls, almost like a telephone ring or something, and then you have this calmer one, which is immediately before beaky grinding. So if you have a conure, just observe them when they're growling, and you can see that the growl means loads of different things. It can be the same with squealing and various other vocalizations too. Same with all parrots, really. Observations, most of it. The more you watch them, the more you learn. I mean, my cockatiel behaviour videos were just watching them for such a long period, and knowing how they behave. If I had other parrots, crazy bird. If I had other parrots, I could probably do the same on them. I could easily do one on budgies, but I want to use footage that I have or I've created rather than ripping it off other people. I want to have it live, seeing it, so I can describe accurately to everyone. Big man. So that actually brings me to the end of my pre-prepared stuff. So now it's open to questions. If any of you have questions, please feel free to drop them in the chat. Quite happy to answer any questions. I'm happy to do a little bit of training with these guys live for you. Adara, very true. The crest, I don't know how someone can say that cockatiels aren't expressive, which I've heard recently. They're very expressive. And that crest is like a cheat code for cockatiels to an extent. I've got a video on that as well, and how important the crest is to reading them. What are you doing? Do you want to sing to everyone? But yeah, happy to answer questions now. I might do some training with these guys just to entertain you, break things up, so questions can filter in. What do you want? You go up there. Yeah, you want to go up there. Stay away from it. Because Fish is starting to sing, so Chips wants to get annoyed. Oh dear. Is it going to be chaos for me because Sophie's not here? Is that what's going to happen? Me too, Gina. I love their crest. I love all of the family of cockatiels, cockatoos. I love galahs. I'm not sure I keep any of them because they're a bit crazy, but I do love how expressive they are and how talkative they are. Oh, Gina, this is good timing because I'm actually free to say it. Gina's been naughty. Thank you very much, Gina. You're always very naughty, and it's always appreciated. Thank you very much. For those who don't know the joke, when people donate, we just say it's naughty because we're British and we're awkward. So it's the easiest way of saying thank you rather than, repeatedly saying it and getting all funny about it. That's basically it. So let's have a look at some of these comments. Different species bonding is odd in a good way. And a mouse and a gerbil decide they like each other. Yeah, you can see it in different species as well. You do love being naughty, Gina. But yeah, you can see in different species. It's very interesting how parrots bond to us. And I've got some ideas for future videos, which I'm playing with about our relationship with parrots. I'm actually considering doing another master's, scientific research master's on anthrozoology, where I'm going to sort of try and research the parrot-human bond and talk a bit about it. I had an interview recently where it seemed to go quite well, so maybe that in the future. How we're going to pay for it is another matter, but Sophie's sort of like really trying to motivate me to do it. I like education, I like teaching, but I also like educating myself, so it might be fun to do. But yes, I love human-parrot bonding and how it works, and it's interesting how these little feathered creatures can be so attached to us. I mean, we're so different to them, and yet they form these close relationships with us. And it's amazing, isn't it? How different animals will form different relationships. And most of the time, it's based on positive interaction, positive association. We can all share this planet. This is going to sound really hokey. We can all share this planet. We can all get on, and we can all do well. So, Sherry, David, I noticed about my conure laid 5 eggs now. When should she stop laying eggs? I took the first and third away. So generally, the clutch can be it can be almost unlimited. It can go on for ages. You have to be very careful of how you manage your conure's hormones. So manage your conure's hormones. Leave at least 1 egg in there for her. Buy some plastic dummy eggs so you can remove the actual eggs and give her dummy eggs. Where do you want to go? What do you want? Get plastic dummy eggs, remove the actual eggs, and then only remove them when she stops showing interest in them, because it's best to discourage it unless you're an experienced breeder, because it can lead to all sorts of problems for it. Dummy eggs are the easiest way. Oh, sorry, Sherry, I misunderstood. It's not all about conures. You can ask questions about anything you want, Sherry. So it's exactly the same principle for an African grey. The clutch can still be unlimited if the hormones keep going. Remove them. Use plastic dummy eggs of an appropriate size until she stops showing interest. Use hormone management techniques. That includes dietary, it includes behavioural. If it's a really extreme issue, and I'm not sure African greys are prone to extreme hormonal laying, so if you can correct me if I'm wrong, you can go to a vet and have other alternatives explored. But in my mind, that should be a last resort. So dummy eggs are your best bet, dietary monitoring, that sort of thing. Laura, my Konya growls when she's not getting away. There you go. There you go. She's like almost like a dog growling, knowing what's going to go on. So Jay, why is my cockatiel so amorous towards my wife when he's out and we're both in the room? Yet I'm the one who has him out of his cage to play with and treat him. But when it's just me, he interacts well. That's a common problem, Jay. It may be that your cockatiel is slightly more favouring. It leans towards females a little bit. We call it the 60-40 rule. So it's 60% towards one person, 40% to the other. That's the ideal. It may be that your cockatiel is more 80-20. And when your wife's removed from the equation, your cockatiel's all right. The object of my desire isn't here. So I'm happy to do training. Normally, what we'd recommend for this is what you're doing: more playtime, more training, your wife doing less of the stuff, keeping the things balanced. But there can be a lot more to it. So it would be worth, it'd probably be worth a consult if you're really serious about it. Otherwise, manage the hormones again. That will help a lot. It can be seasonal. It can be a lot into it. So it's difficult to sort of answer it in a very quick reply. I hope that helps a little bit. Bamboo Cat, is joining a membership the same as Patreon? No. The memberships are just for a bit of fun. They give you some emojis. They give you access to our Discord server and some posts. They're designed to be a very low-cost way of supporting us and getting some perks. Patreon is completely different. Patreon is like a separate thing, and that's where you get the majority of our bonus content. That's where you get all your exclusive videos. That's where you get your exclusive posts, and that's where you'll get your perks and our courses and stuff. Although we're toying with the idea of offering a separate perk for members as well, although not quite as a good one. So memberships are just a low-level way of supporting us and getting some small benefits. Patreon's more involved and getting lots of things, although there is a very low-level tier of Patreon where you get posts and the occasional video and the other stuff. I hope that explained that. So yeah, Patreon is probably where we prefer people to go if you want to support us and get something back from it. But if you want to support us with channel memberships, you get a little icon and all sorts of fun things there too. Where was I at? Peggy. When Peter's been naughty and biting, put my hand over his head and play peekaboo with him. So Peggy, I wouldn't recommend doing that when he's biting. You may be redirecting the behavior, but you may also be making it more exciting. And generally, when biting, you want to be making it a very neutral experience. You don't want to be reacting to biting if possible, and then you want to be redirecting. So what you could do is pop him somewhere neutral, wait a little bit, then play peekaboo with him. So you break the link between biting and peekaboo, because he may want to play with you and he may start biting you because he wants to play peekaboo and have fun with you. So be mindful of that. Are male cockatiels typically smaller than females, Adara? It varies on bird to bird. It's very variable, honestly. I think it would depend on the individual bird if they're getting hormonal as well. Yeah, fish is a big boy, a very big boy. Yeah, he makes Chip look a bit smaller. Birdmaster, my cockatiel has a bald spot on the chest and under the wings. That's how I got it, and now it's not going away. It's possible he's been plucked in the past or he's bullied. Some cockatiels, depending on species, some mutations will have that a little bit. They're more prone to it. Luckily, our guys aren't. It's just important to be aware of that as well and research it a little bit. If he's okay health-wise and you've not noticed him being bullied, I wouldn't concern myself too much as long as he's not actively plucking. Just, again, be careful about it and maybe get a vet checkup if necessary. Right. What do you want from me? What do you want? And also, while these guys are on me, Laura, you're being very naughty. Thank you very much. I quite like the emoji as well. The spinning hippo is very cute. Thank you very much for being naughty with us. So, Jay, consultations. If you click on my banner or in the video links, descriptions, there's our business, Best Behaved Birds. You can see our prices and services and see if there's anything you'd like from there. Again, most of the stuff a lot of the stuff we give for free on YouTube will help you. So if you follow some of the tips on hormone management and just that sort of thing, I don't know. I'm just wondering if I've got a video on. I can't think of a specific one where I mentioned it specifically. So yeah, there's a lot of general advice that may help before you consider a consultation too. Let's have a quick drink. I just talked an awful lot. A moment of silence. And my birds can be very reactive, especially outside the cage. What are the most important things to manage and pay attention to help them stay calm? They never really settle out the cage. Goes back to the start of this. Energy levels, how your energy levels are, how your bird's energy levels are, the environment, if there's anything scary in that, And is anything you need to desensitize? Charlie, he's doing his little cute noise. He's happy. You can go there because you're doing it right in my ear, little man. You can go where you want to go. You can stay there if you want. Where was I? Energy levels, environment, desense work, stuff going on in the environment, making sure everything's okay. You can also use calming supplements in diet. I'm talking about natural stuff, not like anything like that. So when we're talking calming, we're talking about chamomile, tulsi, avian tea blends. They will help a lot. Where are we? Oh, less and more. Thank you very much. I also love that emoji. How cute is that little Sheba doing a little dance? You've been very naughty. Thank you very much for your support. We always appreciate it and value it. Thank you very much. And welcome back, Guy. Ooh, so much talking. I need to take a moment while I read. Yeah, Gina, Lester and Nora have joined the naughty club now. Have I caught up? Where am I? Crystal, I just got an Indian ring neck that is not liking hands. What can I do to help with this? Right now, I move her around by a dowel perch. So what you're doing is actually quite good. You know, get her used to stepping up onto a perch, then potentially sleeve your hand so she can get used to stepping up directly onto that area, then introduce your hands. Also, pair your hands with positive things in a calm way. That can be through providing treats with your hands. That can be through contact training as well. So if you watch my video on how to pet and cuddle your bird, it demonstrates how to do contact training. Wolf, I don't really want to disturb them because they're behaving themselves. With contact training, it's basically, this is the bird. You're basically using negative reinforcement to get them used to your hand being closer and closer. It's very well explained in the video. I'm not going to try and do it off the cuff here. Give it a look. Exactly, Adara, Latinos. That was the one I was looking at. They are very prone to it, depending on the mutation. If, again, just be commonsensical about it, basically. Thank you, Laura. Great topic and info. Gina, yeah, supporting everyone. Thank you, Lessa. Thank you. I've actually caught up with chat. So how are you guys doing? Is there any other questions you want to ask? Anything you're wondering about Charlie, or just hello, fish? No, you don't want this drink, do you? Or how everything's going on in general? I'm happy to answer any questions about us or any questions you have about your parrot-related problems. Otherwise, I'm just going to do a bit of training with these guys in a second. Hello, big man. You come? You are so good if you're stepping up, honestly. You are like the ultimate if you're stepping up. Don't even have to reward him. He's just so good. So let's do a bit of training with these guys, see if they're in the mood. Just to break things up so I can talk a little bit less for a moment as well. My throat's getting sore. Let's get your target stick and do some targeting with you. And you, I need to give you some more attention as well, because I know you're desperate for it. So if you give me 1 second, I'll give you some attention too. I just want to reward you getting overexcited. So we can behave. You touch. What's a good boy? You touch. Good boy. Okay. What a good boy you are. Fish has decided that it's too much work to work for this, so he's just going to go, oh my goodness, okay. Well, okay, I suppose Charlie can do another target then. Let's pop this away. If you guys want to snack, I'm not going to, if you're going to be easy for me today while I'm doing this live, I'm not going to say no to it. I'm just going to get a hemp seed little mister today. You've had your pine nut for the afternoon. So this is a good example. I approached Charlie's cage. I hope you can hear me from here. He's very excited, and I'm going to stop talking in a second so he can calm down. Right, so he's showing a bit more calm. He's pacing a little bit less, so I'm going to take this opportunity. Touch. What a smart little man you are. This is happy, guys. I'm trying to balance the attention because I know he likes attention a lot. I don't want to just leave him there getting stressed and agitated and wondering why I'm not paying attention while I'm in here. So let's just sprinkle some of these in here if you guys are going to be easy for me. I was thinking I was going to do a long targeting session just to show you guys some good targeting practice. And then these guys are like, we'll do a couple of targets and we're done. So Adara, I've noticed Chip has a very, I think it's a cockatiel thing in general. They do have a slight one. It varies depending on the individual bird. So yeah, we are looking to change the cage eventually to something bigger and better. But we want to see if he bonds with other birds first, and also we want him to be comfortable and happy in his cage. Which right now he's just very excited. What I have to do once I finish this live is actually just do a longer training session with him. Go Charlie. He's also very talkative. He says, I love you. He says, go Charlie. He says, birdie bird. His previous owners taught him so much. It's very cute. Where are we? So we covered that. Yeah, basically, Adara, they're like, yeah, good session. Just want to eat. They are funny. I don't try to force them to train because it has to be like consensual with them. I don't want to make them train. So if I get a couple of good reps and they're not interested after that, it's fine by me, especially during a live because it makes my job easier. Birdmaster, how's new bird doing? It's fine. We can talk about it again a little bit. So Charlie's doing fine. Initially, there was some hiccups with me. I covered it sort of earlier in the video, and we did some work on it. I took a step back, and it's helped a lot. You can see just how much he wants attention. Although I reckon my voice is my voice influences however excited he gets, which is kind of the theme of this video. So I have to be mindful, which is why when I walked over there to target with him, I went quiet for a little bit because I didn't want to get him overexcited and agitated. My green cheek bullies my dog. That's not ideal for your poor dog. The Gende bullies the cat bullies my guest. I mean, if the animals are bullying humans, I don't have a problem with that. Sorry. But yeah, bullying each other, I don't really agree with. It's not ideal. I get bullied by Kipling. So, you know, what can I do? So, Adara, how often do you work on bonding things with Charlie and Olive? Every day, multiple times a day? Does it just depend? It depends a little bit, but generally once a day. With the other birds, we don't really need to do much because they will come to Charlie. So Scampy shows an interest, Louis shows an interest, Kipling's a bit naughty. We're having to be very careful about how Kipling interacts with Charlie because we don't want anyone getting hurt. But Scampy and Louis are like fascinated by him. If you watch the Patreon video, some footage of Louis interacting with Charlie, you just see how interested he is, and they get on fine. With Olive, she's indifferent. So generally once a day, we'll bring Olive close to him or Charlie close to him. But Charlie kind of bonds himself almost because he's picked his favourite spot on Olive's cage. So we'll see where that goes later. Where are we? Please forgive me. Mr. Teeny, my birds are very untrainable today. Quite a grumpy mood in the bird room. Yeah, our birds have these random moods, don't they? These guys aren't keen on training. Sophie did some training on the floor with them. They did a bit and then they lost interest, basically, which I'm probably going to leave them out for the rest of this outing. They can just sit and relax unless they get fussy. So yeah, it does depend. Sometimes training has to be two ways. We can't just assume because we want to train, they want to train. We can make the environment more conducive to it by making it calmer and also picking the right times of day when they're more motivated by like treats, because in the morning before they get their breakfast, they're going to be more motivated. But it has to be a two-way street with our birds in training. We can't just expect them. It's not master servant. I try to dissuade people from that way of thinking. They're not our slaves. They're not our servants. They're our companions. And because of that, we should treat them like that and give them some choice in what they do. So we take away a lot of their choice by keeping them. Crystal, back to my Indian ringneck. Am I reading too much into this? She was cage aggressive at her last place. I let her be in a cage for a week and moved her to a big cage yesterday. Oh, blimey, it's continuation. Where's the continuation? In the small cage, I gave her shredding toys and Chop. Not sure she got Chop at last place. She's been chirping and moving around, starting to mimic my name to me. Quite possibly. It could be her showing signs of trust. If she's mimicking and she's vocalizing, then that could be trust. If she's more active and happy and she's not showing stress behaviors like stereotyping or repeated noise, that could be. But you have to be mindful of talking because sometimes that can be stressful, or overstimulated. Let me try and think of a good example. I'm trying to think of Charlie examples specifically. So Charlie says, I love you a lot when he gets excited, but that's not really a stress example. He says good loads if he gets stressed. So be mindful of how your parrot says it in the environment as well. Bamboo cat Monotino, yeah, that's quite normal, isn't it? Has Charlie been introduced to Olive outside the cage? No, not yet. We're not willing to do that yet until we know we can do it in a controlled way and no one's going to get hurt. I know some people may do it quicker and may take the risk. For us, it's not worth it. You know, taking a bit more time hurts no one. Right, you guys are going home. You're starting to get naughty, aren't you? I'm not going to kiss you. I'm tempted to, but I'm not going to. So yeah, but taking it slow is better for everyone, we feel. That's just our approach, though. Some trainers may disagree with us for that. You ready to go back in? Such a good boy. It's a bit noisy, but very good. Right, where were we? Laura. My Connie will only train for a very few minutes, usually less than 5. Then she just wants to cuddle and play. Laura, that's not bad. That's normal. Most training sessions should be between 2 and 5 minutes. And sometimes with some birds, you just want to do 1 repetition. That's all you're aiming for. they're not going to be training for ages, Mike, generally. We try to limit our training sessions to 5 minutes, especially with the novelty toys. You see me training with chip and fish. We don't want to push it too far. So you have to be you don't have to worry about that. Training sessions don't have to be long. We are too. Definitely, Laura, we can all be grumpy. When do you feel comfortable letting Charlie and Olive out together? What behaviours are you looking for? Tolerance, basically. We want to bring Olive to Charlie's cage. Oh, darn crows. Charlie hasn't got used to the crows yet. So you combine me talking lots with them and he's getting agitated. So I'm going to wrap this up in 5 minutes. So we're going to do the last few questions before chaos erupts, and then I'm going to wrap it up in 5 minutes. So yeah, where was I? We're looking for calm, basically. You can see how we did it with Pickles and Scampy. I've got some videos on how to do it. Basically that. Those crows. The conures hate them. The cockatiels are just indifferent. Birdmaster, generally, I'd leave that with a vet. I don't have any opinions on that. Sophie may have, but she's currently walking home at the moment. I tend to stay away from that. Talk to your vet for some advice to make it better. You can use anti-inflammatories like cayenne pepper to help with it, but it's not something I tend to sort of give advice on. Yes, Adara, he was, and he got very, very excited. At least he shows he likes me. That's Sherry's asked Laura a question, so I won't be answering that. That'd be weird. I agree, Gina. Always slow. What is the preferred method of cleaning your cages? I just started steam cleaning and love how he gets off. Should I add disinfectant? We use F10 as our disinfectant. We use a product called Poop Off as well. Generally, with our cleaning, we basically have substrate on the base, so we never really generally have to clean the bottom much because the substrate gets everything. So we just F10 it and then wipe it off. The rest of the cage we just F10 and wipe off, and that seems to be working fine for us. Yes, Gina. Yeah, exactly. Sophie's got a good video on it. Vinegar and water is also safe, as Adara says. It's perfect. Mr. Teeny, the birds have joined. I'm glad they're enjoying it. It's towards the end of the video, but I'm glad they joined us to watch. Yeah, we love it, Gina. It's a shame I can't scare the crows off to spare our little guys. What's going on out there? What is going on? Give me 1 second. I'm going to stop talking. I'm going to stop talking for half a 5 seconds just to see if it helps. It did help. So maybe they think I'm getting agitated for the crows as well. All right, where were we? Klaus, have fish and chip their own specific food bowl? They just cycle through. They do sort of swap over. They sort of go around like each other. They'll eat from one then the other. Yeah, exactly. Our conures will play musical bowls too. Kipling just tends to bully Louis off for the bowl, and then Louis just goes to the other one because Kipling's very naughty. It's just the way he behaves. He's a very cheeky little man. Steam cleaning is fine as well, Crystal. It's completely fine. I mean, if we could take the cages outside once in a while, we'd steam clean ours as well. We don't have that luxury, so we have to rely on the F10 and just cleaning normally. So, guys, last couple of minutes now. Any last minute questions, especially now that all the birds are getting agitated by our flock mates from outside? Please feel free to drop them in the chat. Otherwise, I'll be rounding this off very shortly. Oh, yeah, exactly, Crystal. You know, you never want it to be like that. Ours are quite clean generally as well, purely because we just stay on top of it. No, who's that screaming? They've just woken my to that. So Charlie's starting to scream because there's crows outside, although he's been very excited. Louis is screaming a little bit, and because Louis is screaming, we've also got Scampy because he likes it when Louis screams too. No, thank you, Crystal. We appreciate all of you. Me and Sophie always love that you join us and you support us. And thank you very much, Adara, for being naughty. Gina's calling it out as well now. And again, I quite like cute stickers as well. As childish as that is of me, I do like cute things and emojis and stuff. I suppose it's the anime lover in me. So yes, Adara, very naughty. Thank you very much. Who else? Where are we? The Pathfinder Pony. Kipling sounds a lot like Cicero. Very naughty. Yeah, Kipling is very naughty. He's such a strong personality, very cute. But yeah, I mean, I talk about like working out Crimson Belly behaviour. Me and Kipling have a long way to go. It's better, but there's still those moments where I can't read him. I was talking about to Sophie. I read our green cheeks so well, and I barely ever get like nipped or anything. But with the Crimson Bellies, where are we? No game streaming plans, I'm afraid. I to be perfectly honest, I've been very stressed lately, so I'm trying to take a step back from a lot of social media. just for a little while I catch up. Still do my YouTube, maintain that, put your post up, but I'm sort of dialing it back for a little while. Then I'm going to sort of like throw back at it. Maybe I'll do streaming then, but to be honest, I've got enough on my plate as it is, without game streaming and the amount of hate people get on there. Thank you, Bamboo Cat. Yeah, Dara, I mean, yeah, again, we really do appreciate all of you who do that as well. Guy, could I list the topics I talk about today? Haven't got to watch live today. I'd love to rewatch it soon. So generally, I talk about bonding and initial bonding, also expectations. I talked about misconceptions of behaviour, especially misreading excitement and rewarding excitement accidentally. Talked about Charlie, but you've obviously catched up on that on Patreon. Just answered a couple of questions about upcoming courses and Konya growling. True envy, they're a completely different species. They're not colour mutation. I see you retracted that message, but yeah, a lot of people ask that, so don't worry about that. It's not embarrassing or anything. Yeah, exactly, Guy. I'm not. I have a love-hate relationship with social media. I love teaching on it. I like seeing cute birds, but a lot of stuff I don't like to see. But anyway, I'm going to wrap this up now. I'd like to thank you all for joining me on this live. If you missed bits, remember it will be on YouTube after you can rewatch it. Thank you, everyone who was naughty. Thank you, everyone, for their support and just talking to us. And I hope you all have an awesome rest of the day. And yeah, from me and the entire flock, take care and see you later.